and it's it's kind of symbolic of what's going on with him. He's in turmoil. All
Yeah.
these knobs are turning, and you notice that Oliver Bird will turn it to like 33.1, then back to 330, and then back to 33, and so he's just turning all these knobs from. He's not doing shit.
Right.
He's just turning knobs. But it kind of symbolizes the struggle that David has with kind of singling out things, but he learns how to do that, and he finds out that his sister is kidnapped by D3. He goes into an astral form, a la Doctor Strange, kind of, and she kind of sees him, but it just kind of shows an example of his power, being able to kind of present himself in front of people on a different level, like so far away.
And then there was the time he did that with his girlfriend. Is it Jessica? It was Rachel, right? Rachel. He and Rachel.
Yeah.
Astral project. And
that's completely in their mind, and they have sex.
No, not that. Where they both astral project to where his sister's being held.
Yeah.
And the curly-headed guy with the messed up eye, he can see them. That was pretty freaky.
Yeah. So he's playing with it. Eventually he's like, "Fuck this! I'm going to save her," and he bounces out. And there's this amazing scene.
Rachel is the actress. It's Sid.
Sydney, yes,
God,
Sid.
I don't watch that too, Sydney. Anyway,
I apologize.
There's this amazing scene that you see through kind of recorded footage of him attacking D3.
Yeah, through the security cameras. Because before that, Lenny, Aubrey Plaza's character, has a talk with him about, imagine what we could do together if we team up.
Yeah.
And then that was like the first steps of the Shadow King taking over David.
Yeah.
And through the security footage, you see
him prancing.
Yeah, he's like prancing, and
But then they do the
people
infrared.
the infrared. You see the devil with yellow eyes through infrared, and he's like slaughtering these people, like making them sink into the floor and killing them, and he just annihilates this entire division.
He kills them all.
Yeah, he kills all of them, and he gets his sister back. And then
goes to his childhood home.
Yeah, he takes her to his childhood home, but while she's there, she meets Lenny. Lenny like crawls out of the mirror.
Yep.
And then Melanie and her team show up. But then something weird happens when they show up to his house. There's no sound. They can't talk to each other.
And that is a horror element, because as soon as Sid is going to the front door, the angriest boy in the world, and there's like this big sound of strings, like this.
Yeah,
and he goes running up the stairs.
Like the violin screeching.
Yeah, it's like a jump scare. And they do that all the time in this show. All the time, jump scares. All the time. I went to bed last night. I was literally scared.
So I think you're just like bitching because
Shut up.
You just got real scared.
Dude, I'm telling you, man.
I wasn't scared at all watching this show. Like, maybe that's just me, but I did not. I mean, yes, I recognize the horror elements, but it wasn't to a point that I was terrified. I just enjoyed it. But
then the very next episode is the one where the Shadow King traps all of the team in
this
Clockworks.
In this perceived reality of them being in Clockworks, and Lenny is the psychiatrist in charge. And yeah, it's wild.
So the motivation for the Shadow King to do that is because he feeds off of the power that David has.
Yeah, and then
being in an insane asylum or in an asylum is fine because he's being fed, and that's all he's really after.
Yeah,
and the revenge on Professor Xavier.
And he thinks, and because they're in this insane asylum, this kind of reality, he's not fighting. Like, for that whole episode, up till, like, the end, David wasn't fighting.
Yeah.
Because he thought, I'm at Clockworks, I'm crazy, I'm just going about my business.
But Sid knew something was wrong the whole time.
Yeah, because she saw that door at the end of the hallway.
Yep.
She's like, does anyone else notice that door? And actually, the door leads into the childhood home.
Childhood bedroom.
Yeah.
But still in his mind, obviously.
Still inside of his mind. But
because
then
one of the Carries gets carried off by Oliver Bird that we find out later, and
Yeah, because Oliver at this point Oliver's still in the astral plane, and he goes from the astral plane to this reality because Oliver himself is a powerful psychic.
Yeah.
So he finds his way to the male Carrie, and rescues him, tells him what's going on, and then he rescues Sid. And so slowly, one by one, he's kind of getting the team out, and
because time has stopped in the house right now. Time has stopped.
Well, when they show up to the house, the Eye, the creepy curly-haired guy,
yep,
kills one of
the awesome dude that can move shit.
The telekinetic. He kills the telekinetic.
He just
or at least he stabs
assholes
him
out of the way.
And then one of the Eye's abilities as a mutant is that he can use illusion magic or illusion abilities to change how he appears to other people. So he looks like he's one of theirs. Then he knocks him out of the way, and he starts firing this Tommy gun at David and Sid, and then time stops. And then that's
Sid has put herself in the way of the bullets to save David.
Yeah, and then that's when time stops, and now they're in this in Clockwork's reality where the Shadow King has taken over everybody, and of course it doesn't work because of Oliver interfering.
Yeah,
and
basically freeing himself from it because he's in cryostasis.
He was
the bottom of this facility that Jean Smart's character, Miss Bird, which is
Dr.
Bird,
Melanie Bird,
which is her husband, Oliver.
Yeah, Oliver, her husband, went to the astral plane, but he couldn't find his way back. So they put his body in cryostasis as his mind was still in the astral plane.
So he freed himself from the astral plane for 21 years just by that?
No, it was with David's help.
We don't see that.
We don't necessarily see it, but like David was like the catalyst.
Okay. There's holes in this show.
Well, I'm not saying it's perfect.
I'm not saying it's a bad show. I'm just saying that there's holes.
Sure.
Yeah.
I mean, there's holes in every show.
Well, yeah, but there's some pretty glaring holes in this show. Yeah, it's a fun ride.
It's really fun. It's interesting, and I can't wait to... I think Season 2 is going to be interesting.
Hopefully it's not... I think that the Shadow King part of it is the scary part of it, and I would like to see more of them working as a team. The Carries are amazing. It's Carrie and Carrie. It's a boy and a girl. And the backstory of that is that this young boy was growing up, and he woke up in the middle of the night on Christmas morning and looked over and saw this young native girl playing with his toys.
Yeah.
And so they've kind of figured out that they were the same person, and she lives inside of his body.
And they can split.
But she only ages when she's outside of his body.
So he's like, what, 40, 50, and she's 20?
Yeah, if that. Probably in her teens, high teens, if that.
Yeah.
And then you'll see them. They do a really good job of showing them kind of melding back together. And that scene after she gets beat up, and she gets beat up in a fight, and she comes back and she's been shot, and her face is all bruised and everything, and she finally wakes up, and the male Carrie looks at her, and he's like, I got this. And he kind of lays on top of her, and they meld back together. And you see the bruises start to appear on his face.
Yeah.
And it's really cool the way they do that. Like, the cinematography, the set designs on this show are gorgeous.
Yeah.
Gorgeous. I'm just not a fan of the horror aspects of it.
And that's the thing with the
That's
Shadow
just my
King.
personal preference.
And I don't know what they're going to do. Well, I know that in Season 2 they're...
Patrick Stewart said that he wants to come and play Professor Xavier.
Yeah, he has said that in... was it the Graham Norton show? They were on some talk show where it was Dan Stevens and Patrick Stewart, and Patrick Stewart was like, yes, I would love to reprise my role of Professor X on this show.
It'd be awesome.
I mean, he's not above doing television. He was Picard for however many years.
Yeah. And so that's the Carries. The guy, what's his name? Marshall... Memory guy.
Patanomy.
Patanomy is another one that we talked about briefly, but his backstory is that when he remembers being in the womb, he's a memory guy.
His mutant ability is that he has control over memories.
And he can go into memories.
Yes.
He can access memories. He can jump memories. But he remembers everything. He remembers being in the womb. Obviously, Oliver Bird is a powerful psychic.
Oliver Bird, yes.
Oliver Bird, yes.
He's a psychic, but that's how
And
he
I
also
can't.
got.
Melanie Bird's just a normal person, right?
I believe so. They haven't said she
But
has
I
powers
think that
or
she
anything.
has something.
I would assume she does. She has some. Just the way that she handles all of this and the way that she handles herself, you would think that she has some kind of mutant
It's almost
ability.
like she has that calming ability from the girlfriend in Wolverine Origins, was it? When his girlfriend would tell
Silver
him...
Fox?
Is that her name?
Yeah.
How she can calm people?
Well, she touches them and then she can control them. Like, she can control their mind while
But this
she's
is almost like a
touching them.
calming sense, almost like a light psychic ability just to calm people.
Yeah, she might have, like, a mood controlling ability.
But a
Almost
lot
like,
of these
what is it,
characters...
an empath or empathy, something like that.
Yeah, an empath, yeah.
And Sid. And I know that all these characters were created for the show, right? None of these are, besides David
Besides
Haller
David, they were all, I'm sure that they were, well, and the Shadow King.
and Shadow King. But those are the only ones, right? Everything else was created uniquely for this show.
Yeah, I want to say yes. Because, I mean, even Legion himself is not even that big of a deal in the comics. He's not even in comic books right now.
The only memory that I had of Legion was of William Stryker in the X-Men movies wheeling this drooling kid to the back of Professor Xavier and saying, find them all, find all the mutants.
That's not...
That's not him?
That's
no, that's
Mastermind.
Stryker's kid.
See, I thought that was David. I thought he called him David.
No,
No.
William. Or no, what was...
Jason.
Jason.
That's right.
He
That's his own kid.
he
the
played...
only Legion that I remember is from the X-Men comic, the cartoons from the 90s, 96 X-Men.
Yeah.
Oh, Legion made a appearance?
Legion is the reason Age of Apocalypse exists.
Oh.
Because he went back in time to try to kill Magneto and accidentally killed his own dad.
Oh, that's messed
And
up.
created the Age of Apocalypse.
Damn.
So that entire storyline is because of Legion.
Okay, so... Wow.
And
That's why
basically,
you
the way
don't...
they stopped it is Bishop went through time or something and like shot Legion to prevent him from doing it, going back in time.
Yeah, but it was only like 3 episodes of the cartoon.
yeah,
I think.
that cartoon series. That would be something that would be fun to watch and review again.
Yeah, that would be a blast, wouldn't it?
It's all on Netflix.
But yeah, Legion 8 episodes. It's good. I mean, it's good. I probably won't ever watch it again this first season. But I probably will watch season 2 whenever it comes out.
Was it one of those that you would say like, you're glad it's only 8 episodes, or like if it was any longer, would it have?
It wouldn't have been as good.
Yeah.
I
But
just
it's better as the.
I
Short
hated the
format.
last episode. Legitimately hated the last episode.
Why?
I just think that.
I don't know why I asked that.
Don't never ask me why. They should have ended with him being able to control the Shadow King in his mind. In the end,
Well, they got the Shadow
they
King
tried.
out.
Well, yes, they try to get the Shadow King out, but they admit, like, that it needs a host. So what the fuck were they planning on doing with it if they were going to pull it out? Because Carrie walks in and he goes, "It needs a host. Where did it go?" What the hell were you going to do with it once you got it out of him? You know? And so it gets out. Basically, Sid runs in, kisses him, and transfers the Shadow King into her. And then she transfers into the female Carrie. And she proceeds to kick ass all over the place and knocks
Melanie.
down Memory Guy. And
Oh, yeah, because he was, like, firing a Tommy gun at her.
yeah. Like Al Capone style, just come in blazing, bro.
Where do they even get a fucking Tommy gun?
You can get Tommy guns.
Still?
Yeah.
Alright.
Yeah.
Even though they're illegal?
They're not illegal.
I thought they were, because they hold X amount of rounds or something.
Really?
What?
You can get clip-fed Tommy guns, I know, but people still have barrel drums that carry the 50 cal magazine.
Oh, see, I don't know anything about guns.
Anyway, she goes out into the hallway. You see Legion kind of float down, and they
Charge
run
at
into
each other with, like, this psionic energy around all of them, and then it just, like, blasts them both back.
And it knocks
and
the Shadow King out of Carrie, and he moves down the hallway.
And at, like, the worst timing possible, Oliver
Oliver.
opens the door, and it possesses Oliver, and then he just calmly walks out into a car and drives away.
Yeah. And then they have this fun shot where it's him driving, and then they kind of rotate around. And you see Aubrey Plaza's hand come out, and she's like,
well, he's
doing
driving,
the waving in the wind thing.
Well, he's
with
driving.
her feet up on the dash.
The cool thing about that is that he was driving by himself.